weekly podcast for a couple more weeks at least, where we discuss all things related to creating, living, and making projects. I'm your host, Grant Alexander, and joining me as always is Adam Mackey and Jessy Radfink, and my lights are on crazy fire. And to start the podcast off, we are asking the host to identify something that only they can see on the screen.
Well, no, unless you go on YouTube.
Unless you go on YouTube, which is the only place you're going to be able to find the podcast.
I think it's part of a wind chime.
Part of a wind chime. Nope.
See, that was my idea too. Not a wind chime.
That or like something fishing related.
A fishing related or one part of some sort of wind art sculpture.
Incorrect. It has to do with fire. It is a flue.
If you would stop
down the chimney,
waving it the fuck around so we could see it. So it goes down in the chimney.
So what part of a flue is this?
So it
Explain
is
it like
flue
we're five.
diverter. So what it does is when the exhaust comes out of the flue of the chimney on my fridge, propane fridge, this slows the exiting gas down so it gets a complete burn. If you install it. If you don't install it, and then what it does is it takes up space in your drawer until you figure out what it is. And then you go, oh, fuck, I should have put that back. And I only found this out because somebody asked me in my YouTube comments. They said, my fridge came with a weird, jangly-looking wind chime thing. What the fuck is it?
At least you're not alone.
No, and I went... At first, I wrote up a comment and said, I don't know what it is. I didn't install it. Then I went, well, that's stupid because I should probably just Google what the fuck it is. So I went, jangly thing that came with propane fridge. And a picture of one of these things came up, and I said, oh, well, now I know what it is. It's a propane. Let me just get the real word. Propane fridge flue baffle. Flue baffle. That's what it's called. So if you want to play along at home, you can search propane fridge flue baffle, and you will see one of these jangly wind chimey things. And so what it does is it just kind of diverts the gases so that it slows them down, so you can get a better burn.
Is that like a what's the word? Like a government thing, or is it something you would want to install, or is it like a catalytic converter on a car? How it just you have to have it, but
no, you would want to install it because it helps to make it work better. You don't have to have it, but if you have it installed, it just changes the fluid dynamics of the exhaust coming out of the fridge, and it's something that if I spent 2 seconds Googling it, or even did one of those like Google lens searches, I probably would have come up with an answer. Instead, I remember it fell out of the fridge when I took it out of the box, and I went, oh, what the hell is that? That's weird. And I thought about it for a second. I went, it kind of like, it reminds me of like, for some reason I was like, is it some sort of like device for lighting a match down in the fridge to light the propane? It's like, so like a barbecue has like a spring that you can put a match on, so you can get the match reel like on a long piece of wire. You put a match on it so that you don't burn your hand off when you try and light a barbecue with a match. Does no one else know what I'm talking about?
No. Speaking of things being installed or not being installed, yesterday I moved our caravan because we're finally going to start renovating it, and it was parked over the top of my next door neighbor's water meter. And as I've dragged the caravan out, I've ripped out their water meter.
Oh no!
Water was going everywhere into the street.
Oh my god! Adam.
And so here, if you knock down the power line to someone's house, or if you knock out a water meter, you don't get charged. You don't have to pay to get it fixed. The council will just come out and fix it, and that's it. So they came out to fix it. And it actually turned out to be a benefit for her because ever since she moved in, her water meter was like crushed into the ground. So they've fixed it where it's not crushed into the ground anymore. And they also took out the restrictor that was broken. And now she has good water flow in her house because he said, how's your pressure in your house? And she goes, it is shit. You have a shower and it just drizzles out. Like it's really bad. And now it's all fixed and better. So I'm like, I deliberately did that so that you'd get better water pressure. And but we were stressed for a minute though. Yeah, well, we were stressed for a minute because he goes, normally we only, because it was like pushed down and needed to be lifted back up. He goes, normally we'll only fix our side and you have to call a plumber to fix the other side of the meter. So it depends on what side of the meter breaks. If it breaks on the main side, they will fix it. But if it breaks on the house side, like after the meter, then you have to get a plumber out.
Ew.
And then they're like, oh, we'll just fix it for you anyway. And then they go, oh, actually, if the pipe is plastic or whatever, like the flexible plasticky pipe from the meter, then you'll have to call a plumber. And luckily there was just enough copper between the meter and where that pipe starts so that they could fix it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So today, water was spewing all over my yard as well because they were fixing the hydrant that's in front of my house that has been leaking for years. And I just was like, why the fuck is a gopher? Like, why would a gopher, like, dig a hole next to the hydrant? Because that's what it looked like. It had, like, a hole next to the hydrant that went pretty deep. And I was like, that's a really weird place for the gopher to, like, make its home. But I guess it's
this
like
is the soil digging away?
Yeah, the soil was all dug away, and it's because of there was a leak. Because the way that it all works, they like, if you've ever seen a fire hydrant, they go like 12 feet into the ground, right? So that at least they do in Canada to stop them from freezing. I've seen pictures of them being dug up in like New York or whatever where you can see the infrastructure down. Yeah. Right. So it was like an 8-foot deep hole because of where it was cracked. So they had to dig it all up and then repair it. And so they're designed to just crack like a little seal or something so that you don't wreck all of the, piping underneath. I think I hit it with
just like release the pressure.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's what I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I was like, why the hell is there a gopher here? And then I told my dad about it, and he's like, it's not a gopher, you idiot. There's a leak in the hydrant. And I was like, oh. And then I never called 311, but they ended up coming up anyways because they check every year. They're supposed to check every single fire hydrant in the city.
Oh, okay.
So you have an actual like fire hydrant out the front of your house? Yeah, like sticking out of the ground.
Yes.
Okay, so because here in Australia we don't have that. We've got like at train stations and stuff, they've got like a hydrant and that. But we have like at the front of my house, well, 2 houses up, is just like a hole in the ground with a cover over it, and they bring a hydrant and attach it to it.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, so we don't have hydrants like sticking up everywhere. You could literally just drive over it, not even know it's there. But they have to. Yeah, well,
we'll just park on it.
Well, that's the thing. It's illegal to park on, obviously, and they will literally skull drag your car out of the way if they need to. But it's the owners. So whoever is living in the house has the fire hydrant out the front. It's their responsibility to make sure that the patch where it is, like the concrete flap, is always painted like a bright yellow. I think it's going to be. So like it's their. If it starts getting dull, it's their responsibility to make sure that it's repainted.
Oh. So ours get repainted, and it has to. I don't know if you've ever seen fire hydrants. They're all different colors. The colors mean something. They're different pressures.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Some of them are the full. Yeah, some of them the full hydrant gets painted a different color. A lot of them just the. It's usually all yellow or all red, and then the cap is painted a different color. But every cap color is a different pressure, so the firefighters know how much gallons per minute they can get out of that.
Well, that maybe explains then why I've seen red, yellow, green, and white out in California while I was walking everywhere.
Anyways, fire hydrants are pretty cool. I haven't Googled it, but I was chatting with my neighbor, and they're like, "Oh, what's happening in front of your house?" And he said, "I wonder if they have like is that the same supply that feeds your house, or is it a separate supply?" And we had a 5-minute conversation about it, just like the pros and cons of having a different one. And it reminded me about how great it used to be before you could just Google everything to just have a conversation with someone. The answer didn't matter. The conversation was interesting, right?
Yeah, I'm actually curious now you say that.
Right, because fighting a fire, you don't need the treated water.
No, but I know that it is clean. Well, I know here it's clean water because my uncle used to be a firefighter and he filled his pool with a hydrant. I mean, no, he didn't. No one heard me say that. But so it mustn't be like toxic water.
No. So my dad used to open up the hydrant to flood the ice rinks. And they get real mad about that here because people don't understand that you have to shut the fucking water all the way off or else it will freeze. Because the shutoff valve's like super low in the ground, right? And if you leave it even just a little bit open, it'll fill the whole thing up with water and freeze it and wreck it. Just wreck it.
You know what's funny? Actually, when they were doing the meter yesterday, I thought, what stops a plumber from just removing the meter and connecting the lines together and just have unlimited free water in their house?
Nothing.
But water's not that expensive here. We pay like $200 every 3 months or something. That's not that bad.
So the big reason why they don't do that is because when they look at your water consumption versus your neighbors, they will notice the anomaly and they will come and inspect your water meter. And it's the same with power. Anytime people go around their power meter, they notice the anomaly and they come and check it. And if you got a bunch of solar panels and it makes sense that you would have a smaller thing, then they note it. But if you're just like, oh no, I don't use any power, while you got your air conditioning running and all the lights
it didn't even occur to me that you could bypass your meter, like your electricity meter.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that I have a well after all this talk. Like, the only thing we have to worry about is if the pipes come apart again, because that did happen a few years ago, and we had to have a guy come out with a big ass crane to pull all the piping out and put it back together because our well is 93 feet down, I think. Ooh. Pretty crazy.
Well, that is very deep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And not the deepest out here. Our neighbors to the north actually have had well diggers out so many times I've lost count, and they still haven't hit water. So I'm not sure where theirs is. It might be way below ours.
So another thing that you can get around, if you still have cable, and they used to put limiters on your cable box. So you could go out to your cable box, you needed a special tool or some patience with needle nose pliers, and you could undo the cable box and get in there, and you could take the filter off and open up all the channels. Yep. And when they were out there servicing it, you could just pay the guy $25 or $50, whatever the going price was at the time,
to pretend he didn't see it.
No, and he would do it.
Yeah, he would do it. People in the trailer park where my dad lived for a while did that. They all had the hookup with one guy who would do it for $25. I
remember having friends cable, or not. We didn't have cable. We have satellite TV here, and it's so expensive. And people used to get a card that you put in your box, and it would give you access to all the channels.
Yep, my brother used to do that. He had a card writer, and he would write all the cards for people. And then you could also write the card, and so you had to pay for pay-per-view, and you could just load the card with fake money, and then you could get all of the brand new movies.
Handy.
Back when, that's exactly the brand new movies is what I was getting.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
And And now my brother.
What we've been working on.
Now my brother has a Fire Stick that just connects to everything in the world all at once.
I wish that all these Netflix and everything would get together and just have a $20 a month to get access to everything. It's driving me insane.
They did that when Netflix started. Netflix had a crazy licensing deal with so much. And then Netflix started making money. And then everyone else is like, well, that's our content. And we're going to take it. And that's where Disney took all the Marvel stuff. And then you lost the Netflix Marvel series, which I thought were like every one of them I enjoyed, and they're all like gone now. Now we got.
There's so many streaming services.
It's so frustrating. So I only ever subscribe to one. This is life hack. Okay, you cannot watch all of them all at once.
Yeah,
and there's so much content coming out that if every month you can cancel and change, if you want to watch, like say The Witcher. It comes out with a new season. You're like, okay, cancel your Disney Plus. Go with Netflix for a month. Watch all the shit you want on Netflix. Once you run out of shit, cancel that one. Start up the next one. Sign on for months at a time, guys, not years. Get out of these fucking yearly contracts.
Yeah, we finally canceled Netflix, and we had it since like 2013 or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know how they're making any money.
It used to be all right when you could share.
Oh, it wasn't even about sharing. I've never shared. I've never shared a Netflix thing. It never bothered me. What bothered me is that the price went up. And then the price went up. And then the price went up. And I went, and you were giving me less and less content because they keep losing all the rights for everything. And I go.
And then they're going to start adding ads.
Right, and they're paying like millions for Friends. And I'm like, yeah, I watched Friends when it came out. I don't ever need to watch it again. Why are you spending all that money on that?
Yeah.
Like, anyways. Do you want to talk about what you're working on? I don't care. I don't need to talk about mine. But if you guys want to talk about your stuff,
well,
I'm passing the mic to the next person.
Yeah. I will just say that we finished staining our porches. They're fucking awesome. And now we're painting inside, and I hate painting so much. Like, it looks amazing. I really like the end result. But I'm a messy shit. Like, there is just paint everywhere. And I guess a messy stainer, too. Like, I've ruined some clothes, and I'm just like, ugh. It's so exhausting. It just goes on forever, and you have to wait forever.
Here's a life tip. Only wear shirts that come in beer cases. Then you don't care if they get wrecked.
See, well, what I ended up doing is shirts that come from cannabis dispensaries because Tyler gets so many. So I am now going to go through those instead of ruining my nice tank tops because I was not thinking for the first 2 days, obviously.
And another life tip. Once they get paint on them, if you have enough shirts, you take the shirt and you put it in the garbage. Because there's no reason to have a bunch of painted shirts that you might use one day. Because there's always a shirt in your collection that you can say, today's my painting shirt. This one it's got a little tiny hole in the armpit. Guess what? That's the day that you need to paint. It's your painting shirt. You take your painting shirts, you put them in the garbage. Unless you're a painter, if you're just doing it once a year, take your shirts, put them in the garbage. Just stop hanging on to like 30-year-old fucking, shirts from when you were in university or college. Anyways, I'm sure that your painting is looking wonderful, and I'm sorry you're doing all this work for someone else.
Oh my God, me too. If it pays off, it'll be worth it, but we'll just have to see. Yeah. What about you, Adam?
I haven't been doing much. Designed a new table for upstairs, new desk, and building a window to fit above our air conditioner because we put an air conditioner in, but then there's just a big hole above it in the window.
Oh, okay.
So I just got a sheet of plexiglass and building a frame around that to put in above the air conditioner because we had a piece of core flute in there, but the cats decided that they wanted to use it for a door, so they've ripped it out. So we needed something more sturdy.
Yeah, that they can't grab onto, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, cats. Yeah. Speaking of cats, my cat bit my face during a work meeting today.
Wow.
That was fun. Yeah, she was headbutting me, being really affectionate, and then all of a sudden she just bit my cheek. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? What is wrong with you? So,
why does Grant have a megaphone?
Oh my God.
Just have it for fun. But
I'm scared.
I've always wanted a megaphone. I won't turn it
Why?
on because there's no reason to.
No,
I'm right here.
not why won't you turn it on? Why do you want a megaphone?
So it can sound louder.
Okay.
That's what you want a megaphone.
People to hear his rants. It's really important.
So here's the thing. The podcast is ending. So I'm going to just start screaming at the end of my street with a megaphone. No, I got it for Scouts.
New hobby.
Because there's...
Does it have a siren?
Yeah. And it can also play MP3s, or it has like an auxiliary input. So
that's pretty cool.
If it sounds good, we might use it. Right now, we don't have the speaker system we had for our projector died. And like we have like a projector that we use with Scouts to like do movie nights or whatever. And like the little speaker system we had died. And so I convinced them to buy this megaphone for the dual purpose of potentially using it for that. Because right now we like try and connect like a little, Echo Dot or whatever. And like, it's like this loud. And then all the beavers are just yelling at each other all the time, so they can't hear shit. Which is fine for most movies that kids watch, but we tried to show them Goonies. And there's a lot of talking and
Porkies.
For that shit. What?
Show them Porkies.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what that is?
You don't know what Porkies is?
No.
For the first time, I know something about a movie.
There's going to be some comments about that one for sure.
I've never seen Goonies either.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
I didn't see that until I was like 20. I was late, but I did see it.
I heard that the guy from Lord of the Rings is in it.
Oh. There you go.
All right. All done, Adam?
Yeah, what are we doing this week?
We're going to be doing Ask Us Anythings. Ask Us Anything. Ask Us Anything.
All of them, all at once. It's going to be chaos.
Right. We are going to go through every single one that has not been answered yet, so that everyone who puts something in will have their questions answered. Mm-hmm. And we're going to start off with Jessy asking the first question. We're going to switch who asks the question, so it's not just Jessy asking every single question.
All right. So the first one is from Time Capsule Scratch Builds. What is your earliest memory of making? So for me, I think it's 4-H camp and making clay beads and those popsicle stick yarn. What are they called? Eyes of God or something really dramatic? That's probably what I remember the most. Yeah, I have to look this up now because I'm like, what are they called?
I'm trying to think what... It depends what you constitute as making. Because I remember like when I was a kid, I remember being in like primary school, so before year 6, making like... Do you guys want to know what minties are?
No.
Minties?
So it's like a lolly. It comes like in a wrap, like a paper wrapper, right? So we used to do challenges where you would rip the paper and you got to try and make like the longest strand you can.
Oh.
So I don't know if that can, like that sort of like, I don't know, like you're so fiddly with your hands trying to get stuff done. But other than that, I don't know, just making shit at home. But I can't really think of anything that I can't remember like the first thing I made or anything.
So you talking about that makes me think of like daisy chaining dandelions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I definitely did
like
that.
trying to like tie them together to see who can get the longest.
Or just
chain.
making crowns. We used to make dandelion crowns a lot.
Yep. Or if I want to like try and think of the like an outside of like directed thing, because like obviously in school they give you like crafts and shit and you make it, and there's like Lego but you like follow instructions. So I'm trying to think like the first time that I didn't have to follow instructions made by someone else. And I would probably say it's like my mother gave us some like clay. They like bake. You can bake it, and it's like Play-Doh, but then you bake it.
Mm. I did that too, and that was definitely before 4-H camp. Yeah, like what is it called? Salt dough. Is that how yours was made? It's like salt and flour.
I don't know how they made it. It was pink. So I don't remember. I made a pig or something, or my mom made a pig. I don't remember what I made. Maybe I made a turtle.
I like turtles.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And like the other thing I can think of is we used to save our popsicle sticks. Buying popsicle sticks wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
You earned those popsicle sticks and made stuff with them. And
popsicle stick bombs.
Yeah, you could do that. I remember snapping a lot of them trying to make
like the star thing.
Yeah. Or anything that I don't know would be interesting to a kid. I think like my earliest memory of making is in the sandbox.
Yeah, that counts. Like I always think of drawing as well.
I would say Lego.
I was a big drawer when I was little.
I had a lot of Lego growing up.
Yeah, I hated making outside the instructions with Lego.
I still do.
I didn't like my son will just like build something. Takes all the pieces and just build something. And
I'm not creative enough.
I remember as a kid, my mother we had like just Lego. Like it wasn't like a thing. It was just a big thing of Lego that came in a little like roller vacuum that you rolled along, and it like scooped all the Lego into this bucket. Like it was like a dustbuster looking. Like didn't look like a dustbuster, but that's what it reminded me of. And you would just roll it on the floor and collect all the Lego. Anyways, we had that, and she would always make houses.
Yeah, I built houses a lot.
Right.
Actually,
my mother loved making houses. My wife loves making houses. I don't like making houses. I just want to make cars. My son likes to make both things.
I take back Lego and replace it with Mobilo. No, not Mobilo. Maybe Mobilo. Yeah. Meccano. I'm trying to think of.
Oh,
Meccano. Yeah.
I had rich friends that had that. It was pretty fancy.
I thought I was the shit screwing stuff together.
Oh, yeah. No, those are so fun. And also for the record, the yarn and popsicle stick thing is not called the Eye of God. It's called God's Eye. So if anybody wants to Google it and figure out what the hell I was talking about, you can find it now.
God's Eye.
All right. So we'll move on to the next one. Which logical fallacy argument are you most guilty of? And this one is sent in by DW Woodbuilds, much like many of these other questions. So, if people don't know, there are fallacies in logic that basically, like, if you try and make an argument and you use this as the reason for the argument, then it is a fallacy. So a good one is like an ad hominem. So that's where instead of attacking the argument, you attack the person. So you say, you're wrong because you're a man. And you go, well, that has nothing to do with whether or not the facts of the argument are correct. Or you're wrong because you don't have a degree, right? You're attacking the person. It has nothing to do with, or even worse, like you're wrong because you're ugly, or anyway, it's like, so ad hominem is one that I always think of.
Are you trying to say you're guilty of that, or
I would say the one I'm probably guilty of the most is in my work, I would say appeal to emotion. It's a logical fallacy, but it helps to elicit the thing I want. So I often appeal to people's emotions, despite the logic behind the argument for something may not be sound, because I want them to either do what I want or answer the questions I want them to answer. Right? So I deal with Canadian Armed Forces members often, and I talk about it like, well, this is the member that you are, like, they're a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, and you are supposed to be in complete care and control of these people, right? And it's an appeal to emotion because they then go, well, they start, I don't know. Anyways.
I'm just going to go ahead and say I don't argue enough to know. But I am an emotional person, so perhaps that would also, the emotional fallacy, appeal to emotion, might apply to me.
Now, I would say, I don't think so. You would probably be more like anecdotal is where I would say.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, that's one that catches a lot of people, and I can understand it. It's like, well, you have your life experience suggests that this thing is true, despite it potentially not being. It might be or may not, but your argument doesn't stand up. Mm-hmm. I used to have, when I had an office, I had a logical fallacies poster on the wall. If you Google logical fallacies, you can see like there's one that has like clouds and Plato and Socrates and Aristotle, and that's the poster I had printed out. Another one that likely is something that people fall victim to is the slippery slope argument, where it's like, if you allow gay marriage, what's next? People marrying pets, right? That's a slippery slope. But that's like an extreme example. But there are other examples, like, well, if you install speed bumps, what's next? Photo radar, and it's like, well, it does often come, but it doesn't. They're not. The slippery slope isn't logically sound. It might be true.
I've never heard of this logical fallacy thing, so I've Googled it. I maybe partly appeal to pity, attempt to evoke sympathy in your opponents in order to get your conclusion accepted. I mean, I don't. To me, that's kind of just like gaslighting. But I mean, I'm not trying to like get them to accept what I'm saying is right, but more of like I feel like I'm a bit of an attention seeker. I don't know. Like I'm reading through all those. I don't think I'm any of those. But maybe I am. I need someone to tell me what I am, because I don't see it. If you've
never heard of a logical fallacy before, it's likely that you're doing them without knowing.
Exactly what I'm saying. That's what I mean. I need someone to tell me what I'm doing because I don't notice it.
Yeah. I would suggest, so I learned about logical fallacies in a course that I took in college called Critical Thinking. If anyone does anything at all where they have to make arguments for or against stuff, I highly suggest taking a course on critical thinking where it talks about how to make a good argument, what makes a good argument, and how to make a solid foundation, and also how to, if you know the rules, you know when to break them, right? Mm. And you know how to appeal to people. It's kind of like how to win friends and influence people kind of stuff. But, anyways, Adam, you're up next to ask the next question.
Again, DW Woodbuilds, what is your solution? I think I closed it. What is your answer to the trolley problem? Well, I think if people just put their trolleys in the trolley return bay, it would be a lot better.
I agree.
So for those people that aren't Australian and don't get it, we call shopping carts trolleys. It's such a hard question because it's like, do you kill one versus killing five? But it depends on who they are. Like it depends. Those 5 people, for instance, if like say I want to save my family member, if those 5 people are all like pedophiles, I'm going to choose to kill them. But if they're outstanding citizens, then it makes it a lot harder of a question.
What if it's 4 pedophiles and a family member?
Oh I'm going to kill the pedophiles.
And a family member. So the 5 are lined up.
Well, what's the other one?
And the other one is a random stranger, who's like a good community.
My family member would understand My family member would understand that I'm getting rid of the bad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is the fun part about the trolley problem, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think the other issue with the trolley problem is it's like doing nothing is so much easier than making the conscious decision to like actively kill someone. And like, I always get a little hung up on that too.
But
it's a mess.
But the thing is, the track is set one way to begin with. So doing nothing, you're consciously making a choice to do whatever fate has chosen that track to be set to. So you are still making a decision. You're not doing nothing.
Well, that's the whole point that Jesse's saying. The choice to do nothing, status quo, which I believe
letting fate
is a logical. It might be a logical fallacy,
probably,
but it's definitely like there's always like the pot committed, like you've already committed, or like there's all these like reasoning that doesn't make any sense, which. Anyways, yeah, that's the thing. It's already happening. If you weren't there, it would happen anyways. So it's not a choice.
Yeah.
If you didn't come across that switch or you didn't understand how to operate the switch, it was going to happen regardless. If there was no switch there, you would see it happening and go, well, that sucks that that's happening. And that's why I would go and jump in front of the train and try and derail it. Sacrificing
that is not going to happen.
I think it would. I would commit seppuku.
I'm sorry, but I've seen many fatalities, and there is no way you're derailing a train by jumping in front of it.
Oh, I see what you're saying, but you don't understand. What if I'm wearing armor?
No,
doesn't
you just
matter.
get dented.
Do you know how much a train fucking weighs?
It's not a train; it's a trolley. It's a single car trolley.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm going off your logic.
Yeah.
So you said one of them is 4 pedophiles and then my family member. That first pedophile is going to derail the trolley if you can derail the trolley by jumping in front of it.
Perfect, exactly. So you're going to try and hopefully... Yeah, I love it. You're hoping for the best. I agree. That's a good answer to that question. All right. Jessy, you're up.
Okay, and here's one that I have no idea. DW Woodbuilds, what's your favorite way to derive polynomial equations from data sets? And I would like to say no, because I had to take remedial math for 3 years in college.
I think like the only good way to derive polynomial equations is through regression and regression analysis. That's the way that I would do it. I actually remember doing regression analysis and enjoying it so much that I used it to basically show that the kilometers of a car matter more than the year, and later I proved more than the model, like the options included. So like the different levels of model. Basically, the biggest price determiner on a car is the amount of kilometers or miles if you're in the States or other places that haven't caught up to the rest of the world. But yeah, so...
I also don't understand the question.
Perfect. So Waffle Beaver sent in this question. The Japanese concept of shibui, beauty that makes an artist of the viewer. Your thoughts?
So
Shigabui, what?
About this.
What is it?
So I am still reading, and I don't know. This is a little bit like wabi sabi. Like I feel like I have to digest quite a bit before I can figure out how I feel about it.
So it's not to be confused with wabi or sabi.
I know. I already
Although
read that
many
on Wikipedia.
wabi or sabi objects are shibui. Not all shibui objects are wabi or sabi. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like...
Old school cool.
There's 7 elements. Simplicity, implicity, modesty, naturalness, everydayness, imperfection, and silence. I don't know.
Well, this says, like, what is shibui in Japanese slang? Old school cool.
Yeah, okay. Well.
I don't know.
Well, so since it says the Japanese art of simplicity in several places where I've clicked through, I'm going to say I love it because I've already explained that I am crazy about cleaning and kind of have a minimalist house going on.
I love Japanese design and architecture, so I say I love it too. But I don't know. I don't know what it is, so I can't say that I do.
All right. I don't know what it is either. But it sounds really cool. A beauty that makes an artist of the viewer. That sounds good. So Warren Matten sent in this. Oh, wait. Who's up next?
Me. Warren Matten asked.
Yeah.
Cybertruck, question mark.
No, thank you. Answer.
No, thank you. Yeah. Please, God. No, no, no. That gif of Michael Scott screaming, please, God, no. Oh my God. Because not only is it unsafe and it rusts, everything, the specs about it, we're kind of determined to be a total lie. So, no. Fuck you, Elon Musk. No.
No to the Cybertruck, but I like that the Cybertruck made other companies build electric four-wheel drive vehicles.
That's fair.
To compete, because the new Ranger is sick. The new, what was it? New one came out and it's got crab crawl, so like it'll go sideways. Can't remember what it was.
Isn't that not a Mercedes?
No, I can't remember what the car was. Anyway, maybe the new. I think it's the new. Oh no, the new Hummer. The new Hummer. No, it's not crab crawl. It's got a thing where like all the wheels turn like not 90 degrees, like 75 degrees to one side, and then it goes like around rocks and shit. It's so cool.
Have you seen the Mercedes that does a zero, like
just spins on the spot?
It can spin on the spot.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Whoa!
So some of that stuff is cool. I've never understood why they have not designed like an electric minivan. It just seems like, why the hell not? I know they have them now, but it seems like the perfect place to start because 90% of people who have minivans are driving around the city. Like the perfect thing. It's like they went, okay, cars. And you go, yeah, it makes sense. It's the smaller cars because they weigh less. And then they went, okay, we're going to keep making them bigger and bigger and bigger. And they're like, oh, now we're going to go right into trucks. And I'm like, can you not stop in the minivan section, in the people mover section, the people who buy, like, anyways, I don't know. I don't get it. I've never understood.
I will say, I don't mind electric cars. I'm not a big fan of them because I couldn't stand having to sit somewhere for half an hour while it charges.
Yep.
But I don't like the idea of autonomous vehicles.
Yeah, that is terrifying to me. So.
Yeah.
Luckily,
I do like the idea of being able to sleep on the way to work, but
that's why I take public transit.
Yeah, I don't. There's no public transport at my time.
Yeah, it is. Big no for me. Who's up next? Jessy?
Me? Yes. So this is from Warren Matten. If you invented some crazy new tech that could make flying cars possible, would you tell anyone?
Hell yes.
Yes,
hell
but
no.
I would have to be very careful about it because I want the money.
What? No, wait, hang on.
I don't want to be.
Tell anyone is very vague. I wouldn't just go telling everyone about it, but I would tell someone that could make me money with it. Yes. I would tell someone that could actually do something with it.
I wouldn't.
With a contract, of course.
I cannot trust, unless we have autonomous vehicles. This is where I'll disagree with you. I don't trust autonomous vehicles, the current iteration of them. But I could not even think of trusting.
I see where you're going.
Yeah.
Fucking flying car.
The road's bad enough where you have to follow something. Imagine having free will in the air. Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. Someone's just going to smash into my house constantly. Like, constantly. Yeah. There's going to be cars flying out of... People run out of gas still. To this day. Yeah. They run out of gas.
My wife
on
does,
the highway.
Yeah.
Right, and let's go, how do you run out of gas? Your car fucking, like, screams at you. No fuel! And you're like...
I have had to rescue my wife too many times.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck. And so I was flying my drone at High Caliber Camp. And it has, like, this, like, mode that'll bring it back to home if it runs out of battery. And so I'm flying it around, and I fucked up and only took one battery, but whatever. So I'm flying around trying to get the most out of the battery, and I was like, okay, I got to get like a shot of the blacksmithing. So I go to take the shot, and it's like low battery, and it's just fucking like, I'm going to go fucking straight back home as fast as I can, straight through the fucking trees. And I go, exactly. Like, that's the problem. It's just like the technology is going to go, got to get home, and it's just going to like try and get all the way home, smash through a building.
Quick side note: what is home on the DJI? Is it just where your control is or something, or
when you take off, you set it and you can reset it.
It sets it itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not going to like, it's not going to get low battery and then try to go back to Ottawa because you forgot to update the home.
No, wherever you take off from.
Okay, right.
And or when you can set it, so you can like, as you're walking, you say like, this is my new home point.
Yeah, okay.
And it will, like, wherever the remote is or wherever the thing, like, you can reset it. So,
cool.
But yeah, I didn't, because I didn't think like it was just going to fucking take off into the fucking trees. The problem was like, I was like trying to override it was, I don't know. It just seemed like it fucking just took off way faster than I thought it would. Anyways, no, I would not do it. So, next question. Is that me?
Yep.
Another one for more men. Does wood movement matter? And I'm going to save my answer for last, unless you want me to go.
I have never considered wood movement, so to me, no.
I'm going to say yes if it's something nice that you expect to keep for a long time.
I'm going to say, does it matter? Of course it matters. Like, everything matters, and you need to understand, because fucking metal movement matters if you're talking about how precise something needs to be. You know, it's all about a level position, and also understanding wood movement. The amount of people who try and do breadboard ends on a table who don't understand what breadboard ends are and just fucking pocket hole screw some wood to the end of a board, and then it later cracks. Does it matter? Yes, it matters. Do I always need to take it into account? No, I don't.
Fair enough.
Go.
Weird. All right. Also, no, DW wood builds. Thoughts on Japanese sukumogami?
Sunkomagami.
Sukugami. Sukugami.
Sukomogami.
No, it's Sukogami.
What? There's a mo in there.
Doesn't matter. It's silent.
Okay.
No, I'm being serious. Look, when you were ranting, I googled it.
Skumogami.
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 There you go. Skumogami. Yeah, sorry.
Skumogami.
No, it's the suk. The SU is silent. It's school.
Okay.
You skip the first U. Anyway, Skumogami. So Skumogami apparently is animated household objects.
It's that tools have acquired a spirit.
Yes. I'm not a spiritual person, so no.
I think it's really fun. I enjoy it as sort of a storytelling vehicle. I really like the concept of it. Because this was one that I looked into and thinking we could make a whole episode, and then work killed me and I didn't. But I really think it's a neat concept, and I want to read more about it.
So I am also not into spirits and stuff, but I also believe that, like, if I was like playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I know this is like a shitty, like doesn't really go into the details of this stuff, but in a dice rolls poorly, I'm mad at that dice because it is like the spirit of that dice is going against me that day, and I don't know why. Like,
so quick question: Skumogami, is that Beauty and the Beast?
Right. So when I look at this, that's exactly what I thought. Like the first thing I Googled. Yeah.
First thing I thought of was the talking teapot in Beauty and the Beast.
I don't know. I gotta say that I think that when I there's a reason why we care about old tools. Not everyone, but some people care about old tools that have a story, especially when they're connected to your family.
Yep. They
mean more. And do they mean more because they have a spirit attached to them? I don't know.
I think it's more just the sentimental. Is sentiment spiritual?
Maybe.
You can say? Maybe? Yeah.
I don't know.
Should we go on to the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is from Warren Matten. Do people only/mostly buy themed items from makers who themselves are of that theme? Examples: menorahs from Jewish makers, pride flags from gay makers, ball gags from a dominatrix. Is it risky to step out of your tribe? And so as the resident queer person, I will say that yes, I do try to buy those sort of things from other queer makers. However, I am also fine with buying something from someone who is kind of like a well-known ally and or maybe uses a percentage of their proceeds for, some sort of trans, queer, whatever charity. But it's something that I feel pretty strongly about, where I'm not going to go to Target and buy up all of their pride shit. I'm just not.
I think it would be hard to make pride flags and the Confederate flag and be the person who makes those both. Yeah. Right? And that's is it risky to step outside your tribe? Well, I think it's risky to try and have a business that sells both those things.
I don't really buy anything sort of like that. I mean, I buy my ball gags from online, so butt plugs are another thing. But
so I would say that, for me, I would say that I generally if I were thinking scout stuff, which is where I would aim this towards as a movement that I might be associated with, I am more likely to purchase something scout related from another person who's interested in scouts than from someone who's trying to profit off scouts. Same way that I feel like if you're religious and you're trying to get a menorah, you want the money from that to go to someone who also believes in that. Whatever it is. The same way if you're into soccer, you want the person making your soccer uniform to care about soccer, right? If you're into making and you want to buy something from a maker, it means so much more to buy something from someone who's part of the community you're from. I think Brian House is a good example of someone who is successful because he's part of the community. Same with Maritime Knife Supply. They're part of the community, so they get to know the people. You want to support people who are part of your community. But when we get those aren't themed items other than, the theme of makery.
So I'm going to say yes and no, because you get some people that do support, want to support the community and all that sort of stuff. But you get someone like me who I don't care where stuff comes from or where the money's going or whatever. I just buy what I want to buy. Soccer uniforms, I don't care where the money's going. I'm just buying it because I need to.
Yeah.
I guess
I don't raise but this is what I'm saying. Some people do, some people don't. I don't research, these people put money back into the soccer community. I just buy a soccer uniform because I have to buy it.
Right. So if you had the opportunity to look at 2 different makers and everything being equal. And one was, it's the same price, everything's equal. Mm-hmm. And one, is someone who cares about soccer, and the other one is someone who cares about, you don't know. You don't know what they care about.
I'm probably most likely going to choose the person that cares about soccer, but that's never going to happen.
It does happen though.
Because you put it this way. I can buy, so my school's here, right? So I can buy my kid's school uniform from his school, or I can go to a place called Lowe's, which is just like a clothes shopping center which sells school uniforms. I can pay $20 for a pair of shorts from the school, which I know the money goes back into the school, or I pay $15 for a pair of shorts from Lowe's. I'm going to buy the shorts from Lowe's. The money doesn't go back into the school, right? But I don't like it. It doesn't. I don't care where the money's going.
You already pay for the school, and that's the screwed up part. Yeah, you do.
I don't pay the school anything.
Yes, taxes.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. You've already paid for the school, so you go, and now you're trying to nickel and dime me into giving you more money.
Well, no, it's not. It's not that. It's more. I don't care. I don't care where the money's going. I'm not going to pay, even if it was the same price. Oh no, if it was the same price, I'd probably just go to school. But for the same thing, I'm not going to pay extra $5 just because the money goes back into the school. I don't care.
Right, because that's something that you don't care about.
But some people would, though. Is what I'm saying.
I know.
Some people will say, I want to support the school.
Emotion. That's an appeal to emotion.
But this is my point, though. Money does matter, I guess. But some people will say, I don't mind paying the extra $5 because I know it supports the school. But I don't think that way. So yes and no to the question.
So here's
Depends
the
on the person.
If you are getting the same product, like literally the same product, and your school's just ticking $5 on that, let's just say.
Yeah.
Then you go, all I'm doing is giving the school an extra $5, and that's screwed up. No, I'll give them $5, but I won't give them as part of this. They shouldn't be making the money this way. That's just because you don't see the value proposition in that, which is completely understandable, because that's a shitty value proposition. You're not getting anything out of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure if the school said tomorrow, hey, Adam, can I have $5? You'd say, okay,
fuck no.
It's $5. It's fucking meaningless, right? But if they said, hey, I'm charging you an extra $5 on shorts that you could get somewhere else cheaper, you go, why? So the value proposition on buying things from makers who are themselves are part of that theme or that group or that thing is that they listen to you, they care, and they understand you. And your example, they don't listen to you, they don't care, and they don't understand you. They're just trying to make more money for the school.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And if we still did reels, that would be one. Next question is from Platte Valley Woodworks, not Pallet Valley. No matter, every time I see it, I think it's Pallet Valley.
Oh, I thought it was Pallet. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it is a 4-part question.
It's compound.
Adam, is a heeler a popular dog in Us?
Okay, first of all, heeler is spelt with 2 E's, not EA. So it depends on where you are. So urban environments, no, because they're very high energy. Can you guys hear that? Okay.
No, don't worry about it. It's a podcast. We can never, ever hear what's happening in the background. Never.
Cool. Urban environments, no, they're too energetic. Some people might have them, but it's pretty rare. But they're mainly used as cattle dogs. So most farms will have one, and a lot of people just with acreage, even if they don't have cattle, might have them. But yeah.
So why
they're not really
dogs and Bluey healers?
I honestly don't know. I know growing up there was a TV show called Blue Healers, and it was about cops. And I don't know. Like I'm assuming there's some sort of law around like blue healers being some sort of Australian thing.
So they're healers because one, they're bluish color, right? You can get healers that have kind of this bluey gray color.
Yeah.
Bluey, But 2, healers are working dogs. and I don't know if you knew this, and I've never seen an episode, but Bluey, the parents, are working dogs. One works in airport security, and the other one works, I can't remember what. So healers are working dogs, and these are it's like a German Shepherd. They would be German Shepherds if it was American, which is funny to say because they'd be German if it was in America. But that's what I think. If this was an American show, they'd be German Shepherds probably. So,
Jessy, just quickly before you go into part 3, have you seen Bluey? Do you know what we're talking about?
I have seen pictures, but I've never actually seen the show. Yeah.
Me either.
Yeah. Bullshit, you haven't seen the show.
I've never seen the show. It's on Netflix. I don't have that right now. Number 3, and my
You'll see it next month.
No, my kids refuse to watch TV shows. They're like, YouTube and Cars movies. That's it.
You should watch Bluey because it will teach you so much about Australian culture.
I believe it. Group question. What type of dog would have been better for the show? And I would say miniature schnauzer.
Personal preference. Yeah. That's the way I was going to go too, is just like Rottweilers or Collies.
Yeah, I think would have been an interesting one.
I actually think that they did well in choosing healers, not because they are loving dogs as well, and I think that's the whole point, is that they're meant to be like a loving family. But if you actually watch the show, there is all different breeds in the show.
Oh.
And so when you get, say, like there's a dog called Snickers and he's a sausage dog, right?
Oh, okay.
And like, so, but the way that they sort of frame how the different dogs act and stuff is so relative to their breed, and I think they've done really well at doing that.
That's really cute. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I have no problem with them being healers. Like, I think it's great to highlight a dog that isn't common. Like, I don't. Yeah. The biggest problem is like the trope of like it always needs to be a collie. If they're smart, it's a collie, and if they're aggressive, it's a Rottweiler. And you're like, well, those.
I'm actually going to quickly Google.
Right.
Most popular dog in Australia.
Like, I've never met a Rottweiler that I felt was aggressive. I've met Rottweilers that I was afraid of because they were big. Right, they're just big and they just look like they could crush my skull.
Yep.
But they're super sweet. But I'm still like a little bit afraid of them. Similar like an Irish Wolfhound, people are not afraid of them, but I'm like, oh my god, an Irish Wolfhound. They're designed to take on wolves and bears. And wolves and bears are bigger than me. And I'm a bit like, I'm not a small guy. Like, I might be short, but I'm not that small.
I think too is that one of the other reasons why they probably chose healers is because they're Australian dogs. Like you said, German Shepherd if it was American. No, but I'm saying you probably wouldn't have German Shepherds if it was an American TV show. You'd probably have like an American Bulldog or like you would have an American dog.
No, you would have German Shepherd.
German Shepherd is like the police dog here, and it's like, So I think that would connect for people.
But this is what I'm saying though, is that like they haven't chosen the most popular dog in Australia, which I just Googled and apparently is a cavoodle. Because why?
Oh my god!
What's a cavoodle?
King Charles Cavalier Cross Poodle.
That's not a real dog.
Cavaliers are so cute, but I don't like poodles.
The thing is, they haven't picked the most popular dog in Australia. They've picked an Australian dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
So, I don't know.
There's so many. You know what's crazy? How many dogs, like the Dachshund, which is the wiener dog or the sausage dog, and Schnauzer and German Shepherds, how many dogs are from Germany? And just let that sink in. How many dog breeds are from Germany where they did selective breeding? And on to the next. Adam Grant, have you seen the last couple episodes, Ghost Basket and The Sign? And the answer for me is no, because I've never seen a single episode.
I have, but I don't remember them, so don't ask me anything about them.
Next question.
And it's me, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So this is from
it's me.
Warren. Oh, it's you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good, because I can answer Brad's question next.
Okay. Warren Matten, what alternate last name would you give the other hosts? Examples that he's given: Grant Alec Slander, Jessy Rant Thinks, and Adam Monkey.
I'm so bad at this. I don't know.
Yeah, so I am also not very good at this, but I would say I would give it like Adam Mackey because it's really close to Mackie.
Mickey?
That is Mackey. Like, give me my key. I need to open the door.
Big Mac Key.
Anyways, and
I could be a real dick right now and just go, I would call Grant and then say his real last name.
Yeah, I was thinking of the same for Jessy. I was like, I would call her like, you know, like
everyone right now is going to be listening, going, Ratfink's not her last name? What?
Yeah,
Alexander's not his last
Mary
name?
Sandwich.
Mary Sandwich.
I am bad, and I always only think of like video game or like fantasy names.
Okay.
Like where it's like someone the something, Grant the Grumpy, and Adam the Anxious. Just because alliteration is the only thing I can think of.
Fair enough.
And Jessy the Jealous.
Oh.
Because it's the only J. But I don't actually think you're jealous. Like, I couldn't think of anything else. I would say like, so my last name in the language that it translates from is onion.
Oh.
Like.
That's why you have so many layers.
Oh. There you go. All right. I would say Grant the Layered. Jessy, ask the last ever, potentially, unless we get one more for the next two episodes. Yeah, and then we have the live show to put it up. So hopefully you save 2 for the next 2 episodes, Jessy.
Nope.
If not,
we got nothing.
Okay.
Okay. So this one is actually another one I wanted to turn into a full episode. So I did some.
Okay. Whoa.
Let's do it next week.
And that's next week's episode. I want to thank Patreon supporters, especially the F-Clamp Level 1, Scott from Dad Yourself DIY, David Wood from DW Wood Builds, Brad from I'm Gonna Make, and Chad from Chad's Custom Creations. Everyone who has ever supported us. And on the 200th episode, we are going to list every single person who has ever given us a single donation so that you can claim it on your tax records. But yeah, no, we really just want to thank everyone. As I've been saying, you guys aren't getting charged anymore. If you want to jump out, you can, but you'll lose access to the all the pre-shows and after shows. And yeah, thank you to everyone. I think May might have been the last draw for Gnome Hammer, but you should definitely go if you want to take your money that you were giving to us and put it towards a good cause. Put it towards the Gnome Hammer. If you want a hammer, go support him directly. His Patreon is open, and you get entries into the draw. If you want to support a podcast, we're going to list all the fun podcasts we love. Including stuff like Making Our Way and Work For It, and a bunch of other podcasts that we all listen to are going to be listed in the show notes if you want to find them on their the various podcast places and Patreon. There are, let me just go look. So, there's Working Hands, Making Problems to Solve, Workshop Therapy, 2/3 Focused, Fools with Tools. Lots of great places that you can put the money you've been giving to us and support some other people making great podcasts. There's so many podcasts out there. Those are just a couple that popped up when I opened my phone. So that just means that I haven't listened to their latest episode yet. But now on to CLAMPmendations.
CLAMPmendations.
Talk about a rant.
So my CLAMPmendation this week is Runkle of the Bailey. He is a Canadian lawyer and he specializes in firearms. But that's not how I found him. I actually started watching him during the Depp versus Heard trial. And now I am watching a lot of his recaps for the Karen Reed trial coming out of Canton, Massachusetts. I don't know if y'all have heard of it, but it is a wild fucking time. And I have gotten completely sucked in. And I'm not just watching him cover it. I'm also watching Emily D. Baker and Lawyer You Know, just because I am really sucked into this trial. Basically, a woman, supposedly, according to the prosecution, ran over her Boston cop boyfriend and left him to die outside of another cop's house. And none of the evidence points to that whatsoever. I truly think that she has been framed, which is why I've gotten so sucked into it. But I would really, really recommend, if you like law and learning about it, Runkle of the Bailey is a really solid recommendation. I love watching everything that he puts up because he also does a lot of sovereign citizen videos. And holy shit, I love those.
Those things are always so funny to see, like when they're portrayed in TV shows where like people are like get pulled over by the cops and refuse, and they're just like, I'm a sovereign citizen. You cannot like arrest me. Anyways, it's like a weird shit. I don't know. Adam, I'll go on another rant about stuff that I probably will lose.
So my clampmentation for this week is credit where credit is due. Sidemen have put out a reality TV show that they've made.
Okay.
So it's called Inside. Essentially, it's kind of like Big Brother, right? So they've put 10 people in a place to live together for 7 days. They start with a jackpot.
Or are they outside?
They're inside. They start with a prize pool of $1 million, but everything costs money. So they're given literally every meal they're given like rice and beans. If they want to upgrade their meal, it costs $2,000, but then it's now gone up to $10,000. So if they want to upgrade to a proper meal, it's $10,000.
Wow.
It's like $5,000 for a can of Coke. They have to do challenges. Yeah, so they have to do challenges and they lose money for things that they fail, stuff like that. They've done a really, really good job.
Water as possible?
Yep, you can drink as much water as they want.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're all like
$5,000 for a Coke. I would not pay that.
People have
$5,000.
And there's like a shop, right? Well, there is beer. Oh, not beer. It's like their vodka and stuff, but it all costs so much money. And people are going in there and like buying shit from the shop secretly, and stuff like that. And it's just like it's so well done, so well edited. So because Sidemen do like Sidemen Sunday, so every Sunday they put out a video. So they put episode 1 out on Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is going on their second channel, and then next Sunday is like the finale. So they've like a new episode every day. It's been really, really good.
That actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
This might be one of the few clampmendations of yours that I might check out.
If you like Big Brother, you will like it.
You ruined it. So I'm gonna recommend that everyone go check out Shogun. It is the Netflix show based in the, I think, like pre-Edo era of Japan, when the English, it's like historical fiction of when the first English ship arrives in Japan after the Portuguese have been there for a while in trading with them and spreading Catholicism. Of course, England is there they don't like Catholics and they want them to be Protestants. And it is, I don't know, like it's apparently like historical fiction where the names are changed, but like these events would have happened or could have happened. Yeah. And the amount of people willing to die and just cut their guts open, stab themselves in the heart or whatever. The first time I'd ever heard the term seppuku was in Serenity.
Yeah.
And I just remember, anyways, it was a crazy. There's a guy with a sword. Hey, Mal, there's a guy with a sword. Anyways, he killed me with a sword. Anyways, it is really well done, and I really enjoyed.
It's beautiful.
The only thing I didn't like is that I didn't know when they were speaking English and when they were speaking Portuguese.
Oh. I didn't watch enough of it with Tyler to know.
All right, so what the whole point, he gets there and they're speaking English, obviously, he's an Englishman, and he gets there and he says, I know Portuguese. And so he ends up speaking with, because the Portuguese have been there, he ends up speaking with one of the Japanese people who've been learning Portuguese. And so you never know, is he speaking Portuguese or English? Because sometimes he says a bunch of ridiculous insults of clearly he's not saying them, the things that you would say, you shit-eating pieces of shit, fuck you, you motherfuckers, pull, right? The random shit you would just say to no one can understand you, and the interpreters sometimes try and translate it, and I just go, I don't think he said it in Portuguese. He likely said it in English, and you wouldn't understand it. So, it is, that's my only complaint about the whole show, is I kind of wish that it was, instead of being in English when they're speaking Portuguese, it was just in Portuguese. But I'm guessing it would be really hard to find people that could speak it. The amount of people that need to speak it with the ethnicities that are required, it would probably be very difficult, whereas English is obviously a very common language as a second language. But great show, great acting, great drama. One of those shows you're like, oh, I want to watch the next one.
Yeah, I know Tyler got super sucked into it. He just finished it last week, I think.
Yeah, I just finished it yesterday, and it was the reason we kept Disney Plus for an extra month. We are canceling it maybe once I get off this call. I want to thank T of Turning for the theme song. If you like the theme song, go check him out. If you want a theme song for your shit, go, talk to him. He'll write something. That way you don't have to have the shitty Apple movie, iMovie, whatever it is, the shitty music from iMovie that is in everyone's, early YouTube videos. Anyways, you can find us at all the places. Goodbye.
Bye.